am one with my glorious I Am Presence and Holy Christ Self, my personalities, body elemental, and new spirit. All parts of my being are in balance, harmony, and alignment. I pull in my aura so it is fully contained within my heart diamond and Metatron's cosmic egg. I am now ready to receive today's message. Greetings, beloveds. What glories await you as you unite with your I Am Presence, your true divine self. Many of you are wanting to make this connection and this union. Others of you are not quite sure what it's all about, and if this is what you truly want. Still others of you, like Christmas, are struggling on a daily basis to become one with your I Am Presence. And yet you are finding that the demands of the ego mind often seem overwhelming, and the attraction to fulfill that which the ego wants is greater than the trust that you have in the ability of your I Am Presence to guide you in all the things that you think your daily life requires to be met. And that is the key, beloved. What your ego thinks needs to be met is not always the same as what in actuality, in divine truth, needs to be done. I will give you a wonderful example of this. You have decided that you absolutely need to talk to a certain person today. And so you make the call, and you find that the person is not at home and not available, and therefore the communication cannot be made today. I'm sure you can easily apply this to a number of situations where you think something needs to be done on a certain day, and then you do everything you can to make that thing happen, and yet it does not. And so, beloveds, I suggest to you that it is a truly worthwhile practice to begin to ask your I Am Presence what it is that it wants you to do. And then trust and follow through. I also know that this is much more easily said than done. And yet, it will bring you such joy, such wonderment, such perfection in your life to align and submit the ego will to the divine will. And the most perfect way to do this, beloveds, is through your I Am Presence. I know that many of you have great attachments to your gurus, to your spiritual masters and teachers. And yet they can only take you to a certain point. There is a point where you must become the master. And it is to this level of attainment that I am talking about, and trying to assist those of you that are approaching or at that level to continue making advances. And the only way this can occur is by the connection and eventual union with the divine self, with that part of you that is all-knowing, everywhere present, and all-powerful in your life. Your I Am presence can guide you in ways that you are not yet capable of imagining until you actually try it and see. But the habits of following the ego mind are deeply anchored within your being. Even if they have brought you much suffering, it is still familiar and a habit. And it takes a great deal of energy and faith to overcome this habit. Christmas is struggling with this daily, as she knows her heart's call is to follow the I Am presence. But when it comes to the actual moment of doing it, she finds herself thinking about all of the things that the ego mind wants her to do. And it puts her energy field in a state of disarray. Her energies become scattered as she is torn between following the I Am presence and following the ego mind. Sometimes she expends this energy in unnecessary outer movements and activities. It may be something as simple as washing the dishes, but it is something that distracts her, that she allows herself to be distracted by in order to evade the discomfort of the feeling of the scattered energy when she is unable or unwilling to go to the I Am presence for guidance. I describe this to you because some of you may be going through the same types of thoughts and feelings as you try to make the connection to your I Am presence and to follow it. But it is a time of opportunity and growth when you feel yourself in that intermediary place. The moment of decision where you will decide whether to follow the voice of the ego or the I Am presence. It is very important that you learn to identify these moments of power. These are opportunities that are offered to you to be able to make the shift between the old choices, the old way of being, and your new life, your new choices, your new path. For most of you, these moments of power will feel quite uncomfortable in some fashion. Not painful, just uncomfortable. I can see how Christmas is responding to those moments, and it may be similar or quite different for each and every one of you. So just notice, beloveds, how you feel when you know that that moment of power is there. When you know, and you will know, that you have an opportunity to live your highest life, to connect to your I Am Presence, and to follow its guidance. And then just watch and see how the ego mind reacts, what it says, what it does to try to get you to follow its bidding. There will be times, beloveds, when you will, for whatever reason you have, follow the voice of the I Am Presence. And there will be moments when you will cave in to the ego's demands. I ask you not to judge whatever your choice happens to be. Simply know that there will be both, and accept both as part of your process. Of course, the more you listen and obey the I Am Presence, the easier it will become. And the more you obey the ego's voice, the harder it will become. This is where the energy of momentum enters into play. For as you listen more and more often to the voice of your I Am Presence, you will gain in your momentum. That is why it gets easier. And the same phenomenon happens when you obey the voice of the ego. It gains in momentum. So use the energy of momentum to make that which you wish to manifest easier. Just make the choice to follow your I Am Presence as often as you can. And accept and be gentle and forgiving with yourself when you cannot. Do not let your seeming failures put a frown upon your face. Do not let them be the beginning of berating and judging yourself. For this can only do harm, beloveds. And when you are gentle and forgiving with yourself, This will also help you to be gentle and forgiving with all others. As you remember that all others are going through their own difficulties. They too have times when they live up to their highest standards and perform at their best. And they also have times when they perform at their worst. And so they need gentleness and forgiving, just as you do. You are all at different points along your path, and you cannot tell simply by looking at the exterior of another where that person might be. So do not seek to judge yourself or another. Just do the best you can to become one with your I Am Presence, to learn to follow its guidance in all things, and your life will be a blessing, a constant joy for yourself and for others. Thank you for listening to this video. I love you and I bless you always. I am Metatron.